Good afternoon, Chris here from Eat Sleep Cycle. I'm with my colleague and mechanic Willem, here to talk about tubeless and tubeless tyres and tubeless setup today. More and more people are going to tubeless for key reasons: less punctures, lower pressure, better rolling resistance, and just an all-round better ride. Now, for many people it could be quite daunting. You've been used to riding with inner tubes all your life and have a little bit of a worry of moving over to tubeless, but we're here today to explain it, talk it through, show how easy it is, and you know what, I highly recommend moving tubeless. I'd like to say I know what I'm talking about, but I'd better get a professional involved. So my good colleague and mechanic Willem Jan.
Yeah, okay, let's talk about tubeless. Well, first of all, I wanted to tell I ride tubeless on my mountain bike already for years. I think on more than 6 years, and since last year also on my road bike, and I love it, and I never go back to the regular inner tubes anymore. But there are some do's and don'ts. What you need to take care of, and well, yeah, that's we're gonna explain today to make it work properly.
Amazing. Let's get to it then. It's pretty self-explanatory, tubeless, but as I said, Willem is here to help us out and discuss and advise what it's all about.
Yeah, well, it is quite simple. A tubeless tire setup is a setup of your wheel system without inner tube. Yeah. Normally with the wheel system, the inner tube holds the air, and with tubeless, the rim and the outer tube holds the air. So hence tubeless, you get rid of your inner tube, and you ride it with sealant most of the times. Yeah. And to enjoy the tubeless setup completely, we're gonna talk through it.
Thanks, Willem. Do I need any special tyres or wheels to go tubeless?
Yes, you need. You need special rims that are tubeless ready. Okay. But the most modern wheels are tubeless ready that you order now. And the same with the tires. Yeah. You have the regular tires and you have the tires in the tubeless version. So you can run, if you want, tubeless now these days. Yeah. And a really good thing is also to know that a tubeless setup, if you order a modern wheel, you always can use an inner tube.
Ah, okay, that's a good
with a regular
point.
tire.
I do get asked that question quite a lot.
Yeah, it stays possible.
So can I just go ahead and buy any wheel and tyre and go tubeless immediately?
Well, you can, but you always be aware, because it can be really tricky to get, not in too much detail, but the tubeless rims are different. Okay. You have hook and hookless, right? And you cannot, at this moment, it's not possible to use every tubeless tire on every rim. And the thing is, because normally you run with an inner tube that keeps the pressure to the tire to keep it in the rim walls, but we're running without an inner tube. So when the combination is not good and you're losing air because you can get a flat, the tire can pop out of the rim hook. So that can be tricky. Okay. But we here know all the combinations, and we can arrange a really good tire setup with the wheels. So that's no problem.
And just to reiterate what you said earlier, that if you get into any issues, you can always stick it in a tube.
You can always stick it in a tube.
And you'll never get caught out.
No, never.
Perfect. Yep. Perfect, thanks. So I'm keen to understand a bit about the maintenance. Now, I don't think we're going to sit here today and show how to do a tubeless setup, because that's the job to bring it into a professional mechanic, but I am keen to understand how I can keep an eye on my tubeless setup and ensure that I don't run flat or sealant goes dry, for example. Yeah.
Well, the good thing is that once we set up the tubeless version for you, it isn't that much to do for you. Okay. The only thing what you need to be aware of is that the tubeless dry out over time. Okay. Because it's on water-based, and it dries out, and because you can get flats without you even notice it, in time of time you loses the sealant.
How long would you say then is common for a tyre to go dry?
Normally about 2 to 3 months, but it can be really depend in what for kind of environment you live. Because over here in Girona it's warmer, it can dry out a little bit sooner. Yeah, so you have to keep an eye on it. Perfect. But it's quite easy. You can hear it if you hold the wheel or the bike. You hear the sealant clutch. If you hear the sealant, you know you're still good.
So, I've lifted my bike, I've given it a shake, I've checked the sealant, I can't hear any in there. Should I be bringing it into a bike shop or can I do it myself?
Yeah, you don't have to bring your bike or your wheel to the bike shop. It's not necessarily. You can do it yourself, but you need some tools for it.
Yep.
Normally when you're buying a wheel set or you have a new bike, you get a tool to get the valve core out of the valve to top it off again.
Okay.
So it is quite easy. You get rid of the valve core and then you have access to put in the extra sealant. And you can do it with the bottle.
Yep.
And if you want to make it really easy and pro,
yeah,
like how we do it, you can use a syringe.
Okay.
And that works perfectly. And so you can easily top it up.
So I see here we've got some sealant on the counter. What should I be looking out for and what's the best sort of sealant that I should be using?
Yeah, well, the good thing to know is that all the sealant are more or less similar.
Okay.
But it's really important to use sealant without ammonia.
Okay, why is that?
Well, for example, if some sealant is leaking by the valve and it goes by the spokes nipples, it can go oxidating and can break after a couple of months.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and without ammonia, you don't have the problem.
Okay.
But the good thing is, all the sealant that we have here is without ammonia, so you don't have to worry about it.
For the next steps though, I'm still not completely clear. What steps would you go through if you were topping up your tubeless tyres after time?
Yeah, well, I'm going to show you.
Okay.
It is quite easy. Imagine here is just a tire around also.
Yep.
Yeah. What I mostly do, or I hang the wheel on the handlebar.
Yep.
Yeah. Or you hold them like this. You unscrew the valve. And when you have the valve out, check it if it's dirty or not.
Okay.
When the valve is dirty, clean it with water.
Okay.
And when it's really sticky and it's not working properly anymore, replace it.
Okay.
Yeah, replace the inner core. On the bottles, you always have, you can see how much sealant there is in. Yeah. So when you use the sealant, unscrew the head, and actually you already see that it's a little point. And when you hold the wheel like this, you can let it in, and it works. And you can do the good amount of sealant in it.
And when the tyre is on, the tyre will catch the sealant, obviously.
Yeah, normally, yeah. And now it's going on the workbench. And obviously with the syringe, it's super easy. You do the amount of sealant in the syringe, you get them on the valve, and you press it in.
Easy.
Yeah, easy. And where you need to be aware of, when you put the valve core back in, I always do it upstairs.
Okay.
On the top side, and put the valve back in, and pump it up when the valve is on top.
Okay.
So you make sure there is no sealant coming between the valve.
Makes sense.
And then you are fresh, clean it a little bit, and you are ready to go.
One question though, the daunting question. How different is the ride to riding with tubes on tubeless?
Yeah, it is quite similar. But what I noticed, because the rims get wider and the tire get wider and you ride with less pressure, you feel more comfortable in the ride. And what I really felt was that I was more grippy in the corners. So it gave me a more trusty feeling with riding and with descending.
Yeah.
And I got the feeling that the rolling resistance was less. So it is a win-win situation. But just make sure that you also take, same like always, like an innie tube and a saddlebag, for in case you get a flat.
But I thought you said I'm not going to get a flat with tubeless.
Yeah, you can. Obviously, the risk of getting a flat is very low, but it is still possible.
Okay.
So you can get a flat because a hole can get big enough that even the sealant doesn't get it sealed anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so you need to take some parts with you.
Business as usual then. Okay.
Yes.
Fair enough. I don't want to do the walk of shame, so what do I do if I get a flat with tubeless?
Well, if you get a flat with tubeless, The most important thing is when you notice it.
Yeah.
For example, you feel on your legs the sealant that's spilling out of the tire, or you feel that the pressure is getting low. Try to keep riding a little bit.
Okay.
Because the sealing goes through the tire and mostly it stays a little bit under.
Okay.
So you need to give the sealant the time to close the gap.
Right.
For example, if you notice that you have a flat and you stop, the sealant is under, and when the little puncture is up, only air comes out and not the sealant. So that's why, or you ride a little bit if it's possible, or you stop and you turn the wheel.
Okay.
So it every time can grab up the sealing. Sometimes that doesn't work, and what you then do is try to find the puncture, the hole, put it on the ground with the sealant and try to close it.
Okay.
Put pressure on the ground so it can create a layer.
Right, okay.
Well, and if that doesn't work with on the road bike, you need to put it in the tube.
Okay.
Yeah, it is possible. What you do, just normally take your tire out.
Yeah.
Get all the excess of sealant out.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit messy, but it is in the worst case. Then you need to push out the valve. Yeah. What I normally should do is halfway.
Okay.
So you have some power to press it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can take it out, and then you have actually the normal system. But what you really need to be care about, because if you have a tubeless and sealant, there is a chance that you already, for example, had thorns in your tire over a little glass. So if you put like directly a tube in, you have chance that what's the things in the tires that it directly can flatten your normal tire. So really good.
To when you get a puncture, you just need to make sure you've taken
make sure you check it really good, and then you can put the inner tube in and mount everything, and you can come home.
Perfect.
Yeah. And after that, you need to make a tubeless again, but that is really rare situations when it happens.
What about on a mountain bike?
Yeah. Well, on the mountain bike, it's nice because you have one more option when you have a flat with the mountain bike and with the gravel bike, and that calls the plug.
Okay.
Yeah, the plug. Because for the road bike, you have a lot of high pressure. A tiny tire, it's not possible to plug it.
Okay.
And the nice thing with the mountain bike tire, you already see it. It's big, and it's high from the rim off, so you can plug it really easily. For example, you get a flat.
Yeah.
You know, like you hit something and the air is coming out. It's the same like with the road bike. You need to keep riding, so the sealant catches it up. But then still, it's possible that you that the gap is too big to get it sealed. And now you have really a nice choices of tools for it.
Okay.
What I really like is this tool. You can carry it in your pocket or in your saddlebag, and it is already with a slug on it.
Okay.
With the plug. And what
this is without having to then just put an inner tube in. You've got another option.
You have first this as an option. Yeah. Well, and it works. So when you have a flat with the mountain bike, try to keep riding, same as with the road bike, or turn the wheel. So every time the sealant, you get a new amount of sealant by the puncture. If it doesn't work, what will work sometimes with the mountain bike, get them also the punctured down, and put it in the ground. Sometimes it seals some extra with the sand. If it doesn't seal, you need to have the plug to seal it. Make sure when you have a flat, you always see where the puncture is, because the sealant is spitted out and it's white of the sealant, so you know where the puncture is. And actually, what you need to do is put this in the hole, halfway, and pull it back, and then the plug is in the tire. Okay. And then the sealant, the gap is smaller, so the sealant 9 of the times it also seals the puncture. Yeah, and it works perfectly. With this one, you can carry easily. There are also other kits, because now the plug is a little bit coming out of the tire. Mm-hmm. With this kit, you get a little knife to cut down the slug. Okay. Or you can also choose to ride, but then sometimes when it it's getting out of the tire, it can damage your paint.
Right.
So be a little bit aware of that. But it's nice because you can follow your ride, and it's easy to fix. So you can, when you have plugged the wheel, the tire obviously have lost some air.
Yeah.
So you can pump some extra air in it, and you can go on with your ride. And then when you are at home, what I normally do, I take out the plug,
Yeah.
and I make the tire a little bit clean, and I put a patch in on the inside.
Okay.
And you can still keep riding with your tire. Only you need to do is top off with the new sealant, and you are ready to go again.
So patch on the inside, similar to what you would do with an inner tube
With
previously.
an inner tube,
Mm,
yeah.
okay.
It is similar, yeah. Because the holes are also, when you plugged it, it's not too big, and with
Yeah.
the patch that are specially for tubeless tires, you can still riding with your tire instead of directly change for a new one.
I am feeling pretty confident now. I mean, as I mentioned before, confident with the road setup, now with the mountain bike setup, certainly. There's some products that I'm not familiar with or I've not used before. Can you run through what they may be?
Yeah. Okay. Well, what we just talked about also, all the things, is the sealants.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need the sealant. The nice thing is that this is one that you, when you have your tire setup, you have this one for at home.
Yeah.
So you can always save yourself. So you need the sealant.
Okay.
What we have here is all sealant that is really good and works really good. So you can trust that. And you have the syringe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a thing to have at home. It makes it so much easier.
Probably tidier, I guess.
Yeah, proper tidy. Yeah. We also use it here. It's perfect. The valve tool.
Valve tool.
Or the fancy park tool. Yeah. What I love is like a small tool like this. Yeah.
Gadgets.
Yeah, the gadgets. Yeah. To make it there is even. You have here this side. You have it with the slug, and this side you have it for in the tire when you have a puncture.
Yeah.
You can do it a couple of times with this, and you make the connection better for the
the
plug. Yeah. So easy to carry, and it makes it lives so much easier. Yeah. And if you want some other things, you have the little tool.
Okay.
Really little, and also the slugs.
Right.
For example, if you have a
Yeah.
saddlebag, these, for example, you can put in your saddlebag, and it takes not a lot of space, and then you can save yourself on the road. This is some extra glue what you can put on with your slug, but not a lot of people use it. So this is actually what you need when you go tubeless.
Perfect. I am super confident now. Thank you, Will.
Nice. You're welcome.